back, bud. I had to let the
Hey,
boys out and stuff. And once you
yeah, it's
say
good.
Chippy, so they're like, oh, yeah. Get them
They're
back in.
there.
And Diamond wanted to lay out in the sun more. It's like, I can't do this, bud. I said, you want Chippy? I'm like, okay. Then it gets their
Ah,
attention.
that's
Get
good. No, it's
him
good,
out of
man.
the cage. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
I
bud.
think if this does well, we can bring other people. We can. There's so many other lists on here. This is certainly good since we wanted to do more horror anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
This is a lot of
excellent.
fun.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Finishing up. I haven't looked at all the lists yet, so I know there's some good ones on here. So
Yeah,
all
man.
right, let's
Oh,
do
I
it.
do have a show idea I want to
Oh,
give to you. Somebody gave to me.
yeah.
I thought it was really interesting. Let's do a list of the banned movies like the 70s, like in different countries and stuff, and their shock value, and then say,
Oh,
does the shock value still hold up as opposed to current shock value, like where films are now?
yeah,
Why were these so shocking then?
yeah.
Does shock value still hold up to what today's standards are? So,
I like it.
okay.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sure there'll be a lot of changes with our mores, but yeah, that sounds great.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's an
that'd be awesome.
interesting. Yeah, it's like that's really interesting. I never really, like, duh,
Yeah,
it's like things are
we,
so in front of your face nowadays. A Terrifier series and all that. It's
yeah,
like, are these just shocking from back then to now? So
yeah. I
it
didn't like
begs the question.
Terrifier. It was just
I don't know.
it was
Yeah,
just torture porn. I'm like,
yeah, yeah.
it's
And
no,
no, yeah, I watched the first one once, and I have no use
yeah,
for sequels. I
yeah.
don't want to see more of that.
I mean, I'm glad for the guy who made it. I mean, it's a
Yeah,
ship cheap movie, and he's
yeah,
made gajillion. He's a gajillionaire. Now this is
yeah,
great. Good for him.
yeah.
Just not for me. So
Nope. Okay.
get off my lawn. Um, at the time, I would have just loved it. I'd have been like, yeah, it'd been fantastic. But it's okay. Things
All
happen.
right, bud.
Let's roll, man.
Let's roll, brother.
Hey, this is Kern Murphy from Shatter Messiah, and you are watching and listening to Heavy Metal Horror.
I am Montag, Master of Illusion. What goes up must come down, but not always.
Hey, this is ChopTop, your rock and roll Ayatollah. Welcome back.
And you are watching and listening to Heavy,
Heavy
Metal,
Metal.
Horror. Oh, Kiddies, part 2 of our top 100 horror movies of the 1980s. That's right, we are milking it. That's right, milking it. Um, we are going to start with number 66, Vampire Hunter D. It's an anime. I really like this movie. It is, you know, I love anime. We grew up watching Speed Racer and then Battle of the Planets and Star
Mm-hmm.
Blazers, and Astro Boy.
Voltron.
Yeah, and then when real anime started coming over, and being able to see kind of the stuff that was out there, like Akira and things like that, it was like mind blowing. Vampire Hunter D is it's a horror. It's a guy who hunts vampire hunters, and you get this whole crossover with the D. Um, I don't want to spoil it if you haven't seen it, but it's a fun movie.
It is. It is. Yeah, not much. I mean, I can really recall about it, but I do remember quite enjoying it. That, along with another anime, I'm going to bring up just Ninja Scroll was another
Mm,
great one.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, it's just like, but there's some hentai stuff in there, and there's some definitely
yeah.
they have a different view of sexuality for sure.
The seedy underbelly of Japanese culture. Yeah, I like it. I
Yeah.
like the hentai stuff gets really gooky. Some of it, I remember like the first one I saw like Yuratsuka Doji, and
Yeah.
like it was like, and I was like, oh, okay, we're seeing a little peepee guy. I'm like, oh, tentacles. Oh my God, tentacles are going every orifice filled. Okay, I'm like,
Huh,
like, do I jerk
different.
off for this or not?
Yeah.
I said, I don't know. It's kind of disturbing, but it's kind of, I don't know. It's kind of hot too. So
Yeah, right, right. It's like I'm a little
yeah,
aroused by this. I'm gonna pull out my
I
tentacle.
know.
Yeah.
The Japanese, the hearing, it's all the stuff. But at the end, I just thought, no, that's just too disturbing. I can't come
Yeah.
to that.
Yeah, man.
So I'll just throw on an episode of, Speed Racer, and when Trixie comes on, I'll just finish that. So Oh, Speed. Ah. Well, let's speed on to number 65.
Great
Uh,
segue.
Jason Lives, Friday the 13th, Part 6. Um, I'm sure I've seen it. I don't know what's in it because it's number 6. And who knows what's happening by then? But you probably know a little bit about this, Chop.
Yeah, I'm trying to recall. A lot of the sequels start to run together for me.
Yeah.
It goes on, but I think
Is this the one where he gets resurrected? He's like dug up in the grave and the lightning strikes him and he comes back?
Lightning Strikes. I believe that's the one, and it's
Yeah.
these group of kids that are like at this house for like they're unruly or delinquent, and basically picks them off there and all this and around that area and stuff. So yeah, I'm trying to remember. It's a decent addition, but I
Yeah.
don't think it's the best by far in the
Yeah.
sequel. So yeah.
It's just after a while, the formula, because it doesn't really stray, uh, and I remember them bringing in that little psychic girl, or no, that was Halloween. See, after a while, like they just ran out for me.
No, the
But
psychic girl was in, I believe, in part five. Yeah, where they're
was
at
it
the Camp Crystal Lake and and she has the power to kind of like she's telekinetic
okay?
and fight battles Jason and all that, which I thought
I see.
that's a
So they
good
were
one.
stealing from Firestarter, pyrokinetic kind of thing, Stephen King thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. Well, number 64 is a movie that we both love so much. My grandma loved this movie, Child's Play,
Oh yeah.
with Chucky. Um, yes, I played this for my grandma, and she said, boy, that Chucky, he's got real pretty eyes, but he gets awful mean. I'm like, yes, grandma, he gets awful mean is right,
Oh,
you know?
bless her heart. Yeah,
Yes.
that's great.
Oh man, grandma was the best. Nothing could scare her, man. I showed her The Descent. I told them girls not to go in that cave.
Yeah,
I showed her
so
The Evil Dead. I showed her the worst of the
yeah,
worst, and she was just like eating it up, man. She just loved it.
great.
Oh man, grandma, I miss you.
Mhm.
But Child's Place is fun. I love Brad Dourif as the Chucky, the serial killer. You know, when that woman's in the elevator, what an ugly doll. He's like, fuck you. It's like,
He was his killer's name was it Charles Lee Ray? Is that what it
yes,
was? Okay.
something like that.
Yeah,
And
but
gets the
that's so
doll
good.
gets possessed with his spirit. The My Buddy doll,
Yeah,
which is a
yeah,
creepy as fuck doll, man. Anyway,
yeah. It really is.
so like, I'm not.
I
Oh, and
love
then
the
they
scene
came
where
out with them. Oh, good.
I love the scene where Chucky's it's in slow mo, but like the car crashes or like with the detective in the front, and he's like, "Ah!" I laugh my ass off. I see that.
Yeah,
Oh
tongue planted firmly in cheek on
yeah.
Child's Play. Yes. Um, okay, number 63. We have from 1984, Friday the 13th, The Final Chapter. Apparently not. It's misnomered. I don't, again, I know I've seen it because I've seen them all, but I
This
just
is the
don't
one
know.
Corey Feldman's in, I believe. Family
Oh,
where he at the end he chops off all his fucking. He's like, Jason, Jason, fucking. That's what cracks me up. And but it's really because he ends up offing Jason at the end. But
okay.
somehow he gets like possessed by Jason's spirit and go.
Ah,
Obviously, you can see where it's going because at the end you see it in his eyes like that, and I think that's when it goes into 5, 6, and 7. But then it kind of gets after about 5. I think 5 it might have ended that or 6. I don't know in between there both those. But I remember I really liked it. I saw this at the theaters when it came out. But man, he's in Corey Feldman with his fucking bald head. It's like Dr. Evil.
oh
Um,
yes.
but yeah, but it's just so hysterical. It's like
Yeah,
Jason on his
I remember
stairway
I
like
remember
that.
that I remember that scene. Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, these yeah, I know the franchise made a ton of money because
sure.
it's
It's a
made
horror
money cheap.
icon. I mean,
Yeah, I think the appeal is limited to an age range,
Mm.
but I think I don't know what the appeal is now. I don't know if kids would go out and see a Friday 13th. It would just be crawl at a snail's pace for them. I have
Right.
no idea, but you know, there it is. Number 62 is Silver Bullet, another Stephen King. Shocking, another Stephen King,
Yeah.
and this time involving a werewolf. and Gary Busey's in it, Corey Haim, Everett McGill. What are your thoughts on Silver Bullet?
Oh man, one of my all-time favorite werewolf stories and movies. This is just, I read the novella back in the day. I had it. I don't know whatever happened to it. Love that. Um, and the movie's just as spectacular. I just, wow, what a whole. What I like about it is, here you have it's ironic. There's a lot of irony with this because the werewolf, who's actually then he's a pastor as well, preacher.
Mhm.
So it's like the irony just alone in that the inner confrontation he has with himself by also being cursed by being a werewolf. So it's just I like that whole dynamic in the main character,
Yeah.
main antagonist. So that was really a standout. The werewolf effects, he looks fantastic. The makeup in
Mhm.
it, and it still holds up to this day.
Yeah. Good,
Great.
really good
So
practical effects. Yeah.
yeah, I love the story. Love
Yeah.
the whole irony with the main antagonist and the look of the werewolves. Just yeah.
Yeah. It's been a long time since I've seen it. I remember thinking, wow, this is really good. But it's been one that's been on my list. Like, I haven't seen this movie in probably 30 years or more. I should go see this, you know. So
Definitely.
yeah, like, hit again. Moving on up, another Stephen King. I think we're gonna hear that name a lot. Pet Cemetery from 1989. I think a really faithful rendition of the novel.
I agree.
I that was like the last, I think the last full Stephen King novel I read. Actually, it's been that long. Um, excuse me, but I really like this version of the novel. It doesn't really change a whole lot. It
Hmm.
carries everything. And seeing Herman Munster as, the neighbor, and just those lines, the soil of a man's heart is stony, Lewis.
Yeah.
I just want to sit and
Sometimes
have a
there's
beer.
better. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, got to bury your own. Um,
Yeah. Bury your own.
that's
Lewis.
right. But I really like it, and I love Church. I love that English short hair that I really always wanted that kind of gray cat like that.
Oh yeah.
It's a really creepy movie. It even has the terrible end faithfully reproduced, you know. But it is a really uh spooky story, really effective.
Well, it
I
falls into a
Yeah.
category, I think, with a lot of them. I'm gonna tell you, we go to child horror because basically you have Gage who's killed horror. I got to walk out of the room every time that scene comes up because I can't stand it.
My mom can't
Um,
watch it past that scene. She started watching it and she yelled at me and she's like, "Why didn't you tell me a little boy get killed?" I'm like, "Why would I spoil that for you?" She
so
stopped.
then, but then when he comes back and then it's like this evil, totally different. He's a child killer. So it goes with like there's probably a whole genre we could go on a whole discussion about movies that are child killer kind of things, and this
Yeah.
would be one of them to put an example. I think.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, I love the novel.
Yeah, me
I
too.
love the setup. I love the movie, the performances, everything. Yeah, Engage. Um, yeah, it's just really, really, really creepy. And
Hmm.
I love the concept of it. And it deals with the really things, dealing with truth and death and life and struggles with that and as a kid and the hope that's the Pet Cemetery thing. So no, I kind of get that. I
And it
love how he
touches on the
weaves in.
I'm
Oh,
sorry,
go
it
ahead.
touches on the human element also, Montag, of because there's times like I wish I could bring them back, come back, but now
Hmm.
he gives King gives you a source material, this ancient
Yeah.
Indian kind of pet cemetery where
Be
it comes
careful
back,
what you
but they're
wish
not
for.
the same. Yeah, careful what you
Yes.
wish for. So
Yeah. That's why I love the weaving of the stories of this, people in over throughout time who have kind of tried it, and the soldier who came back, it was never quite the same. And like it affects everyone
yeah,
a little differently,
right.
but still really, really, really good.
So,
So all right, moving on to number 60. This is Tetsuo the Iron Man, which is avant-garde experimental type of movie, as a Japanese body horror.
I've never
Um,
seen it.
but this one, and there's also Tetsuo 2. Yeah, Tetsuo, it it's it's kind of like David Lynchian, like a Eraserhead kind of, but really
Oh,
frenetic.
okay.
And it's black and white and it's really visually striking. Not always clear what's going on. It's a lot of visually like absurd and kind of ridiculous. But it's a kind of got the steampunk vibe, cyberpunk, the sci-fi, techno kind of horror,
Okay.
and but it's really good. I mean, it's a really good movie, and
Okay.
I think for what it
Huh.
does, and Tetsuo 2, I think was also very good, the sequel. But yeah,
I'm
you
gonna
gotta get a
check that out.
chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. Number 58 or 9 rather, The Company of Wolves with Neil Jordan,
Never seen it.
uh, Sarah Patterson, Angela Lansbury. I love the this movie is really based on Angela Carter, um, the Company of Wolves, her short
Okay.
story, which is in the movie or her book, The Bloody Chamber and Other Stories. It's a really adult kind of retelling of classic horror or fairy tales, and brings back a lot of the horror elements, sexualizes them quite a bit. And so I was really looking forward to seeing how they were going to do it. And they really do cover a lot of the elements in the story in here. And
Okay.
it has a really kind of a fantasy look, like the sets are really kind of pretty and smoky. I mean, it's a set, but there's something to that that's kind of nice as well, because you can see how nice a set it is. There's like a dreamlike quality to it. It's definitely worth a watch. I think it's
Okay.
visually really, really nice. And I love Angela Carter's writing. I just think she was so gifted.
Mhm.
Um, tragically taken away from us. So that's number 59. Number 58 is a movie called Alice. It's a animation. I've never heard of it. Looks like, I
Hmm.
don't know,
Me
experimental
neither.
avant-garde from 1988. I don't know anything about it. You, Chop?
Me neither. Nope.
Okay, well, we're going to move on. Um, Number 57 is City of the Living Dead by
Oh,
Lucio Fulci. It's another exploitation. Yes, we have seen this. Would you like to tell everyone about City of the Living Dead?
oh, sure. Basically, this reporter and I believe this medium, they go to this town basically where basically this priest has killed himself and aka opens up the gates of hell.
The
And
Gates of Hell. That's
the other
the
title, yeah,
American version, right?
right.
That scene
And it,
when you
uh,
see him.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Once he kills himself in front of this couple, right? They start bleeding
Yeah,
from the eyes and all this shit.
yeah,
And
yeah.
the girl really gets it. And all of a sudden she's like, and like you said, all these gurgle fucking horrible sounds. Basically, all her innards come out of her mouth. And it's just on a loop. So it's like continuously like
It
a
just
thousand,
keeps on.
100,000 fucking feet of
Yeah,
intestinal stuff coming out. It's just hysterical. The gore is, of course, it's classic Fulci.
yeah.
You see it in a lot of memorable, and but it's still scary too.
Yeah, and
This
these
it
movies,
still shakes me. This movie when I
and
watch
they
it.
they don't always make sense. There's always some
No,
like,
no, there's some
you have
plot
to
things.
kind
You're
of
like, huh?
what? Yes, and like that doesn't what? Yeah, you had to kind of just go into it, going, look, not everything's gonna make sense. Just enjoy the vomiting priest scene or the vomiting reporter scene.
Yeah.
So yes, number 56. Excuse me, is Sleepaway Camp with Felissa
Ah,
Rose, who we'd love to have on the show. Um,
yeah, yeah.
there's a whole slew of Sleepaway Camp movies. Uh, Following in the success of Friday the 13th, there was a whole slew of Friday the 13th imitators, this being one of them.
Mhm.
Very fairly formula, straightforward formula. There's a twist, and if
Mhm. Oh yeah.
we don't want to tell you the twist if you've not
Mhm.
seen it. But that's what kind of makes this movie stand out. It's like,
Yeah.
literally and figuratively. So
Didn't expect that. Yeah.
yeah, right. I know. It's relevant now. 42 years later, it is still relevant. So that's all we'll say about that one.
Yes.
55, we have Hellbound, Hellraiser 2.
Yeah.
Now, I can't remember if I saw those. I think I did, because I saw
Oh, I'm sure you
Hellraiser,
did, bud.
and I remember
I'm
seeing
sure you've seen through three
Bloodlines.
at least. Oh yeah, you've seen all four. Okay, I've seen all the
Yeah,
four.
I remember I liked Flow 4 an awful lot, but I don't recall much about this one. I like Clive Barker's short stories. He wrote Hellraiser, right? Or
Yes.
is it? Yeah. Um, this is one of those ones that, like it feels like Phantasm to me. Like it doesn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense. Like it just this weird kind of like supernatural warp in space time and reality with this
Yeah.
cube and this Cenobites. And I mean, I like the S&M concept and the
Hang on,
pain,
bud.
those kinds of things. I like the look
I
of it,
like
but
the whole
it's a little
different look of,
confusing.
yeah, it was convenient, but I think I actually prefer it to the original, the first film. This is I think one of the few successful sequels you can put out there because I seen both those in the theaters. Actually, I saw all four in the theaters, first four. Um, but I liked how it made hell look so. It was a different kind of look for it, everything, and I like the whole idea. This box can bring these Cenobites, these Pinhead in particular, and all that, and just they want to take you back to hell with them. So I thought that was kind of unique with the supernatural kind of element, the look
Mhm.
of how hell did look when they're down there and everything, and the look of the Cenobites. It's just classic. I really like the makeup when effects and work on that. So yeah,
Yeah, it's really interesting that it's an interesting, definitely some kind of foreign, creepy, you can see that kind of evil through them in their
right,
look. So yeah, I like there's some things I like about it. And things that it's just not memorable enough to me where I want to go, yeah, I really want to watch Hellraiser. It's
yeah,
never been a movie that called to me and said, yeah. It was when I was
I want to
working
see
at the
that
video
again.
store. Yeah, it's like, I did enjoy Bloodlines, but
Mhm.
just because I got some of the backstory that was intriguing.
Yeah,
But otherwise, yeah.
yeah,
Um, all right, back to Toby Hooper for number 54. We have Life Force. We have this alien movie that based off of a short story, I believe, right, by Bram Stoker.
I believe
Um,
so.
and I remember watching Life Force back in the day when it came out and liking really one thing about it. I think you
I
know
know
where
what thing. Oh my gosh. Yes,
I'm.
hello, that fucking hot lead actress who's
I'm like, oh, naked
naked
space
the entire
vampires.
film. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
like, uh-huh.
I'm like,
Okay.
fantastic. I
Hmm.
will watch this again and again up to a point. Uh,
I'm like,
about about
I'm
18
done.
minutes in and I'm spent.
Yeah.
You mean there's more movie? I never make that far. Um,
This is
so
really good. Patrick Stewart's in it as well, though. And
it's a very British feel to it. It's
yeah, yeah,
it's slow paced, very deliberately paced. It's got more of a 70s vibe to it, I think, in
agreed.
that respect. Good special effects and
Mhm.
and the whole space vampire, the alien space vampire story. It's
That's really
kind of a
cool.
yeah, I like it. And coming from Bram Stoker, hey, it was a twist on Dracula for him.
Sure.
And kudos to the space vampire and for that.
And for the lead
Thank
actress,
you.
thank you for,
Yeah.
yeah, I go back to this a little bit. So,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
thank you
same
for that
here.
because you're the reason I go back to it. So,
That's right. Um, and this is what happens in about 3 minutes after Chop Top starts watching it. The Blob, number 53, The Blob comes 1988, the remake of the 50s classic.
really
Uh,
good.
I, it's been a long time since I've seen it because I love The Blob, the original The Blob.
Yes, me too.
It's just it's so 50s Americana. It's got rock and roll. You got cars, and I just
Oh yeah,
love this.
man.
Yeah, it's just so good. Um, and or was it 60? Was it 1960, 60, 61? Maybe? Or was it
I
59?
forget. I think it was the late '50s, but
60. Okay. But
but
this movie is a really really worthy remake with a really, good special effects.
yeah, yeah, absolutely agreed. And I know we're not talking about the original, but so we're talking about the remake came from that.
Mhm.
But I like I agree with you. Even though I wasn't born then, or anything like that, but the nostalgia, it does give you a feeling of comfort, like when you watch that, like the thing from another world, or we've talked to how many of those films you can go back to any of the '50s
Right.
sci-fi with monolith
Yeah.
monsters. And
Yeah.
there's just it's a comforting kind of feel to watch that.
Yeah.
There's something about
Yeah.
it. I don't,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree. And the Blob is really it's a fun remake. Number 52 is one I think is kind of Lamberto Bava. Demons from 1985.
yeah.
Uh, what do you remember about Demons, chap?
Basically, that people are getting invited to this theater. This guy in a mask or whatever, he's handing out like free tickets or whatever. The screening of this film or whatever. And in that time space, you got uh there's this. I don't know, this guy, he's like a pimp. He's got his sugar mamas with him or whatever like that. One of them gets scratched by this mask across her, this ancient mask. It looks really, really cool looking mask actually in the film. But eventually, as the night goes on, she transforms this demon. And then when she strikes other people, they get infected and so on and so on. People are actually locked into this theater. And it's one fucking scene that's just so outrageous. It's
Yes.
hysterical. Is when the helicopter comes through the fucking ceiling of the theater and just like no explosion, nothing, just there it
Just
is.
yep, yep.
But there's a great soundtrack to it. I think Motorhead, Saxon, Billy
Mhm.
Idol, some other ones on it. And yeah, it's just a blast of a demon zombie film.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
love it.
It's kind of got the
Sequel,
best of both
I still
worlds.
like that too, but I don't think the sequel is anywhere near as good as the first one. But yeah,
Yeah,
love it.
yeah, I agree. It's a fun movie. It's certainly of its time.
Yeah.
But there are moments that are just you can kind of get a nice glimpse into kind of the wildness of what was going on, and when you just allow someone to kind of just do whatever, because you
And
do bring in.
the makeup, the effects are great.
Yeah, effects are
The
good. You get this
demons look
metal music. It
awesome.
was just like
Yeah,
watching Return of the Living Dead. It's our version, our generation's version of the Blob, of the 50, the original Blob, because it
there
had
you
the
go.
rock and roll.
Yeah,
That's what those movies are,
great point. Yeah.
So yeah. Number 51, we've got Halloween 2, Jamie Lee Curtis and Donald Pleasance. A direct sequel to Halloween, which had
Mhm.
come out a couple years before that. Um, very different tone in Halloween 2. It becomes really essentially a cat and mouse chase, like a chase, one long protracted chase scene. Um, but it's I think of these two, it does tell the whole story in a good way, kind of wraps it up, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Not
I
nearly as
really,
good as Halloween, but it is I
it's
think it's still a pretty good movie.
yeah, I agree too. Um, and I remember, now you look at it. Back then, you never thought of it, but like you got like one fucking nurse in the whole hospital. There's
Right.
nobody else around. Jamie, she's screaming through it. Nobody's fucking. It's like it
Yeah.
makes it really unbelievable with that. 'Cause it's
Yes.
like,
It's very
when do you ever
dark,
hear of that? Yeah,
claustrophobic. Right. I know. Yes. Like they never, like now today's hospital, there's like 25 people on the floor. It would, it just wouldn't hold
exactly.
up. But even then, it was like, wait a minute. It's like watching Exorcist 3. There's like one nurse in this whole ward, you know.
Right,
Um,
right.
but yeah, it's a dumbed down version of the movie. It's like Halloween was so good. This one just kind of gets into one gear and kind of stays there for much of the movie. But
I do
um,
like oh, Michael supposedly dies in the end, and this one, of course, he never
mhm.
dies. But this one, when he's burned up like that, you walk it, it's like it's really cool. And Donald Pleasance actually, you presumed he's dead in it, but you later find out in another sequel he's no. But great performances like Donald Pleasance always, Jamie Lee Curtis, of course, just you know, she's wonderful in it, and yeah, I really enjoy it.
Nice. Okay, number 50, The Hunger, with Catherine Deneuve and David Bowie, Susan Sarandon. I I don't remember much about it. I know I saw it when back in the day, but I
Yeah, I
really
can't.
don't remember much about it at all. They're vampires. That's what it focuses on.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
and
there
and
you go.
and
That's about
Ridley
it.
Scott's brother Tony directed it. Uh,
Oh, okay.
I think it's his brother. So it has a look. There's a visual look to it because it was made in the era of MTV, and so we have some of that influence. And but it's got that gothic feel. There's a sexuality to it.
Yeah,
But I don't know
I
if
might
it's
have
one
seen
I'd
it
want to go
once,
back and
but
watch again.
yeah, maybe once I've seen, but I like you, or Montag. I can't recall.
Yeah,
It's been a
if
long
you're
time.
if you're a vampire fan, then you might really enjoy it.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay, number 49, The Burning, which Jason Alexander. I don't remember this one. It's a slasher film. I don't know this one, The Burning. Do you?
I think I've seen it once. It's basically Crystal Lake camp kind of thing, but there's a worker there that they pull a prank that goes horribly wrong on this worker. He ends up like you think he's burning alive, but he comes back and he slashes all these fucking kids in that. So it's pretty straightforward. I mean, it's a basically slasher slash revenge kind of movie,
And
horror
now
movie.
maybe that's the because this came out before Nightmare on Elm Street, right? This was
Yeah,
81. So maybe this was the inspiration for Freddy Krueger.
could be.
Never know.
Right?
Number 48, I have seen, which I really like. I remember liking Night of the Comet. It's a comedy
Hmm.
disaster movie. I don't know why it's in horror. It's not a horror
Yeah,
movie,
that's kind of
but I do remember liking the movie. It's kind of light. I mean, a comet goes by and the whole world kind of goes, and these two friends go out and kind of surviving and in the midst of this kind of a apocalyptic kind of movie, and it's kind of a little tongue-in-cheek humor,
Mhm.
you know.
I know it's a cult fan favorite for a
Hmm.
long time. And yeah, it's definitely of its time, the 80s and stuff. You see
Yeah,
it just in the clothing, the way that the characters portray themselves, the acting.
yeah,
It's just there's a
yeah.
style to it for
The
sure.
Valley Girl thing, a little bit
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Number 47, we have Dead and Buried. And that sounds really familiar, but I don't know much about it. Do you? Dead and Buried.
Yeah, I've seen it on gosh, be like 6 months or so ago. I don't know if it was on Tubi, might have been on Tubi or something, but basically uh these people are getting you think they get killed or whatever, and you think they're dead and buried or whatever. But no, then people are like, wait, they're still alive. Didn't they just die or like that? Here to find out like this mortician or whatever like that is like somehow can disguise reanimate them, disguise them like that and everything. But it's got a twist to it as well. And I thought there's some creepiness to it. I think the effects are um commendable. I think they're decent. And it's a decent story too. So yeah, give it a shot.
All right. Moving on, number 46, My Bloody Valentine. Um, I had an issue of Fangoria that had this in there, and the picture of the miner with the pickaxe through some guy's like throat and pop
Ah,
one of his
ah,
eyeballs out or something. I'm like, fuck yeah, I gotta see this movie.
right.
Uh, and it's slow. I mean, it is
Ah,
really slow.
yeah,
There are some decent moments, but this is one of those rare occasions, Chop, where I think the remake is better. Um,
agreed. I was just going
yeah,
to tell you that.
yeah, I actually enjoyed that. I mean, it had that 90s, still had that 90s, early 2000s vibe,
Yeah,
but it was I thought, oh, this is a pretty decent remake.
yeah. It's like I seen the original, and I went back to watch the original about a year ago, and I'm just like, oh my god, this is really like fucking slow. But then you put
Mhm.
on that 2009 remake, you're just like, hell yeah, this is
Yeah,
what I'm talking about. It really, goes for it, and I enjoy that. And I think it's not so much scary; it's a different type of slasher kind of movie. But yeah, I agree with you. That remake is far better than this. But still, it's one of those landmark horror films. It's from the 80s.
yeah,
Uh, check it out.
yeah. It's there.
Right on.
Okay, moving up, number 45 from 1983, we have Twilight Zone, the movie. Um, is really fun and a movie version length episode of the Twilight Zone with an anthology of stories that are kind of woven in between. And I saw this just the one time. I really liked it because I enjoyed Twilight Zone.
Mhm.
I don't know if I would really call it horror as much as
Yeah.
science
Mm.
fiction, but I thought it's a really good movie, definitely worth watching.
I think it was when it was directed by George Romero. I'm not
There were
sure.
several directors because every director
Oh,
did his own
yeah,
sequence.
that's right.
So
Each
Joe
segment.
Dante, John Landis, George Miller, Steven Spielberg.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's well worth it. That's a great anthology movie. Again, I agree with you. I don't know why it's in the horror, but so be it. There's some definitely horror influenced episodes in the original Twilight Zone show,
Yeah. Yeah.
but creepy
And that
ones.
opening scene before it goes into the movie where he's telling them the story when,
Yeah,
you want to see something really scary or whatever it was, yeah.
yeah, and then
It's
he's
like,
like,
oh,
"Ah."
okay. Yeah. Like,
Like,
okay. That's
okay,
fun. That's
cool.
fun. All right. Hey, Stephen King back at number 44 with Christine, about the guy who has a car and the car likes to run people over. So,
The
uh,
car that's possessed. Yeah.
yeah. I saw this one time. I mean, I didn't read the book. To me, I can watch these movies one time. They're not enjoyable for me because I see the same tropes in a lot of King's stories, and I'm tired of the same tropes. This one is about like the bullies. I get tired of seeing his throwback and fallback on the bullies as a plot device.
Yeah,
And
it's you're quite right. It's in quite a lot of his novels and stuff.
yeah, I mean,
Really.
revenge is wonderful. Hey, that's the ultimate story, right? That's the story of the Bible, right? God and revenge, and that's what hell's for. And hey, I love that. But yeah, it just it it was okay. The guy who playing the Christine, the driver, he always thought I always wanted like he looks like Horshack to me, you know.
Yeah.
And that's why
Oh, the cat.
I know I watch him like it's Horshack, Mr. Cat's here. Oh, Christine, Mrs. Christine, don't run him over. Like I can't get past that. So there it is.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah, that's pretty much the story. There you go.
yeah, yeah, what you gotta do? All right, number 43. We're moving up the charts. Friday the 13th. Um, the first one, and I loved this one when I first saw it.
Yeah.
I loved how it was spooky for me because I was pretty young when I saw it,
Sure.
but I was really impressed with how gory it was. I mean,
Yeah.
I was fascinated by gore at that time. Again, wanting to be a makeup artist, I
Right.
thought, yeah, I want to. And I was like just dreaming, like, oh my God, what did they do? How did they do this effect? And like this is Tom Savini horror makeup.
Yep.
Kevin Bacon, his first role where he's on the bed
Yeah.
and that arrow comes through his throat. I mean, it's so effective.
It's so great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What can be
Uh,
said of and then just at the end when they get the reveal, that dream, that fever dream,
yeah.
shit in the boat and comes out, and Jason comes out wanting that makeup. So like, oh wow, his decomposed
Yeah.
face and it's all mutated. It's like, yeah, it was really
It
good.
it was a
It's one of those
shock.
iconic scenes, I should say.
Yes. A very much shocking, like Carrie, the end of Carrie, which was about a couple years before that.
Yeah.
The dream sequence where the girl goes to Carrie's grave and puts a flower, then the hand comes up.
Yeah. It's a
Uh
shit your pants moment when you first see it. You're just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
not
And
aware of it.
when Jason comes out of the water, yes, yes, it's really creepy. Yeah, really, really creepy. So that's number 43. Number 42, we have Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. Um, I remember watching this. I was in college. I I liked the first Nightmare on Elm Street. The second one was pretty good, but by the time Dream Warriors, I could appreciate the humor as they got sillier, but it's like a one and done for me.
Hmm.
It doesn't pull me back. There's not enough to it that makes me want to like record it or watch it again. It's like, eh, you
Yeah.
know.
See,
Oh,
I love this one out of the
oh,
sequels. This is one of my favorite sequels, and I like that whole more humorous side of stuff. And but I do like the whole thing that because Heather Langenkamp returns in this one and trying to help these kids out, and it's like hypnosol or something using this drug that's supposedly these kids can't whatever helps them with their sleep disorders. That's what they're all there for. And mention it's just I like the characters and I like the humor and hey man, it's got Dokken in the soundtrack. Come on, I'm like yeah. Oh,
yeah, Dream
I'm like
Warriors, Docking. Yeah.
yeah. So I know I think it's one of the better sequels. And yeah,
Yeah.
there's a few in the series that are just like it's
I mean, I like
get
some of
weird,
the
but
inventive deaths, the way Freddy
right.
shows up as a dream, like as pep, meatballs on the pizza, or the
Yeah.
tongue through the phone. I mean, yeah, there's, I mean,
Welcome
that
to
stuff's,
prime time, bitch. Slams it in the
yeah, there's,
fucking
it's like,
TV.
it's
But
really all the puns. Like I get it. That's wonderful.
right.
But it's not enough for me to sit through it, like
Okay.
to get to those parts. But I get it. So, all right, number 41, we Dario Argento brings us Phenomena with Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah. Oh, Jennifer
Yeah.
Connelly.
Yes.
Yes, me and Montag can both agree.
Yeah.
What do you say about Jennifer Connelly?
Yes.
We got to talk about that
Well, I'm
off the
just gonna
air.
slow down right now. Um, yes, she's quite beautiful. A
Mhm.
girlfriend from a long time ago, and from last week. So there we go. Um, Dario Argento, what we have like it was like a fantasy or giallo. Jennifer Connelly comes to this place where she has this ability to connect with insects. I think is that
Mhm.
from and that
Yep.
part becomes part of this is the basic plot, understanding this
Mhm.
mechanism and what it means and those kinds of things. I don't remember a lot about it.
I think that basically at the school where she's at or where like that, students are getting picked off different ways by this killer. It's typical Giallo kind of thing, but it's got the twist, like you said. And if I recall, she uses her ability actually, or, finds out who it is or whatever, and uses these insects to basically, I think, kill the killer, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a while since I saw this one, but I remember the insect stuff. I remember it's a Giallo, yeah, there you go.
All
And
right, yeah,
Jennifer
because
Connelly, you can't forget
yeah,
that.
she was it was just kind of starting really early
Oh
on
yeah,
in her career. And so I mean
she really
she's a
piqued
really good
my
actor.
interest
She
in
really
that
is.
film. Yeah, she
Yeah.
piqued my interest for sure.
Yes. Yes, we were all teenage boys at one time. Yes, or teenage girls. Some of us are teenage girls. Hey, Jennifer Connelly is beautiful.
Excellent.
Number 40, really disturbing movie, odd, which I liked at the time. Altered States from 1980.
I
By
know I've seen this, but I
yeah,
cannot
William
recall it.
Hurt, Blair Brown. This William Hurt, I've seen it just the one time. It was kind of freaky deaky. William Hurt plays a scientist who's wanting to experiment with sensory deprivation, I think.
Hmm.
And but it like starts to mutate him. I think there's this like body horror aspect where he begins to, as his mind like devolves or goes back further in times, like he begins to do that, or something like a transcendence happens in him in like physically. But it's really weird, dreamlike states. It's a bizarre movie. But I think it's one of those ones that might surprise us. It's 45 years old now, so it might be something to revisit. Like, oh, okay, does it still
Hmm.
hold up? Yeah.
Okay. Hmm.
All right. Dario Argento brings us our number 39 opera, which is his Phantom of the Opera retelling. Um, I it looks nice. I don't really care for the story like Phantom of the Opera. It's just not my thing.
Mhm.
Um, but it looks nice, but I don't really have much to say about it.
It's part of his trilogy of films, because he had this was the third one, I believe, and it was what was it? Crying out loud. I can't remember. But anyways, yeah, I remember the second one was Inferno, then Opera came. But
Oh,
the first
oh, I
one
see.
was oh gosh, the one at the school in Germany or whatever, where they found out it's a witch's coven. The classic we always
Oh,
like.
right. Suspiria.
Suspiria, Inferno, Opera. I
Oh,
believe that's it.
okay.
Yeah,
Maybe I'm
so
getting this one confused with the fan of the opera, the other opera movie that came out. Oh,
I think so. Yeah, yeah. But
there was like a, okay, go ahead.
no, they're well worth the watch. I mean, they're brutal as fuck. Of course, you got the gore. I think more so Inferno and Opera are more the Giallo style than, I think uh Suspiria is just pure horror. Um,
I like
it does have
Suspiria
that element.
a lot.
Yeah, it does have that. Me too. It does have that Giallo tinge to
Okay.
it,
Well, then
with
I must have
Suspiria.
gotten it
But
confused. Maybe I got
yeah,
it confused then with a different one.
but
So
they're
I've
well
I've
worth.
not seen this one then.
Yeah, they're well worth the watch.
Okay,
So
excellent. Moving down number 38, a movie that we both love, The Howling, and Joe Dante, Dee Wallace, Patrick McNee, fantastic werewolf movie. And I really love this movie, and I think didn't we do a slugfest with this
yeah,
and
American Werewolf.
American Werewolf.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, it's really wonderful. So what are your
I mean,
thoughts?
oh my God, the werewolves for me to look at them, they're so iconic. They look fantastic. The makeup in there, sometimes a little overdone. I know Dredd talked about the bladder thing of whoop, 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 stuff around that.
Yeah.
But boy, that just the werewolves alone, the story's great, and it's creepy too. It's dark. There's not a lot of light in the
Hmm.
settings or anything like that, so it keeps really a tone. It sets it and kind of goes for us throughout the whole film. And yeah, and the performances are great. And yeah, I don't get can you say I loved it so much. I got it used on Blu-ray. Got it. I loved it. I got like a collector's one edition. I'm just like, oh fuck yeah, because
Yeah.
I could go back to this many times.
Yeah. It's a really good movie. Yeah.
The rest of the series
Um,
sucked ass, but this,
Howling 2, Your Sister's a Werewolf. What? You didn't like that one?
oh,
Oh man. Or
where
was
do
it
we
Howling
go?
3? I don't know.
Uh,
yeah,
Howling for
I,
the rebirth. Or
oh no, oh yeah, no,
something.
I didn't want to watch Howling 2. Your sister's werewolf. It was only um because it was like it was on, I think. I'm like, what? Why not? And I knew Sybil Danning was in it, and I'd known
I
her from
know.
like the other '80s exploitation,
Yeah.
And sure enough, they got her in there. Like she becomes a werewolf, and it's just like, it was just like so bad. But yeah. Anywho,
All you
moving
need is the
on.
first one. Yeah.
That's right. Number 37, Inferno, as you had mentioned, the middle of the things by Dario Argento, the
Yeah.
supernatural horror, which now I have to go watch. I have to watch
Yes.
after Suspiria. I like Suspiria. So
Love it.
and I think I might have seen Inferno.
I think you
But the
have.
one where the woman it goes she's like she goes she goes like
Uh,
underwater to retrieve.
Yeah. The apartment
Yes.
building. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Uh-huh.
brutal too. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. These
Yeah.
movies have so much like dreamlike quality to them and like
Mhm.
stuff that doesn't necessarily mean that's real. Like it straddles the line between reality and fantasy and it blurs those things sometimes where you don't know what's going on. I don't know. Or maybe it's just me. Um, but I will watch them again, but this time I'll be pretty fucking high. So that might help,
That'll
you
help.
know?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, number 36, we've got The Burbs by Joe Dante, and this is not a
Oh,
horror. It's a comedy
yeah.
horror,
Yeah.
with Tom Hanks and Bruce Dern, Carrie Fisher. Uh, I just saw this for the first time like a couple years ago.
Oh, really?
So
Oh, I love
yeah,
this film.
yeah. What do you love about it?
What I love about it is just it basically focuses on neighborhood paranoia of your neighbors. You know what's going on over there? Are they decent people? We hear these noises. What are they up to? And so Tom Hanks and his one neighbor friend, is probably his best friend. They end up trying to investigate and actually end up going into their house and there's some moments of tension like the family finally meets them and they're all grumpy or they're just weird or off and all this stuff. Because one of my favorite scenes is Bruce Dern goes across when they're going across. His wife makes some brownies or whatever to take out. He's got him carrying like this, and his foot goes through the fucking porch, and he drops the plate. He goes, "Ah, oh, there goes the goddamn brownies." That's the way he says his delivery. I laugh my ass off every time I see that
Yeah,
part.
it's a big, it's very satirical, and you got that going for it. Yeah, it's a comedy. Tom Hanks, it's absurdist kind of, yeah, the comedy of paranoia. It's
Yeah,
also very, very rooted in the '80s. I mean, the sensibilities are there as well.
sure.
Um, but yeah,
It's just such an enjoyable film. I love it.
yeah, it's just silly. So,
Yeah.
unlike number 35. 1987's Hellraiser, by Clive
Mhm.
Barker, the very first one. So we had just talked about Hellraiser 2.
Mhm.
Um, and what do you love most that you didn't say about Hellraiser 2, but what do you love about Hellraiser as a movie versus Hellraiser 2?
Well, what I love about the first one mostly is you get introduced to um Pinhead, some of the Cenobites. And the first time you get to see him, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
that's a unique looking icon. It's really cool. The makeup when Doug Bradley was fantastic for his character. And I like the whole element of basically her uncle is just this sadist, perverted, son of a bitch or whatever. And um, so I remember the mattress or whatever, and blood stain. It has whose blood on it? Was it Uncle? Yeah, Uncle Frank's. And so she wants to bring him back. So she lures these guys into murders them so she can have Frank back or whatever like that. But then, there's a price to it because discovered a box or whatever and open it. And, you know, Pinhead and the other seven, they want to come back and bring Uncle Frank back to hell with them. So it's got that kind of twist too. It's very, I don't know, it's kind of, there's a little bit of a trippy feeling to it as well. I think the Hellraiser in general
Hmm.
series.
Yeah.
Um,
You get some of that in like when we talk about Event Horizon. I always say it's Hellraiser in space.
right.
It's got that same kind of feel.
Yeah.
It's almost like watching what was it oh shit, that German the German the Burning Moon, it
Um,
taps into that same kind of
it does.
zeitgeist of that body horror, and torture and pain and
Yeah.
that S&M quality, yeah, no, I totally get that. World is very interesting. I
Mhm.
don't think the movies are always effective, but
Right.
they're certainly worth a watch.
Sure.
Um, I think one of the most disturbing movies on this list comes in 34. It's 1986's Henry: Portrait of a Serial Killer,
Yes, sir.
with Michael Rooker, Tracy
It's a
Arnold.
one and done for me. Yeah.
I know this is Professor Feathers, like one of his favorite movies because he loves Michael Rooker. And I remember watching this the first time going, Jesus Christ, this is intense. This is so horrifying.
Yes.
Um, because of how unemotional Henry does these things and how
Oh yeah.
just matter of fact. And there's no glory to it. It's just it is
There's no
horrific.
emotion. Yeah.
No, and that's what it is, just utterly horrific. Uh, and this is based on Henry Lee Lucas.
Yeah.
Um, and it's just a terrifying movie at
Yeah.
the deepest levels, and it's a lot has to do with Michael Rooker's performance.
Sure.
I
Oh, it's
mean, man,
outstanding. Granted. Oh
yeah,
man, but he is zeroed in. He has character totally. There's
yeah,
emotionless, like we taught everything, and just the
yeah,
intent. He's
yeah,
just totally like, that's it, done.
horrifying, horrifying.
Yeah.
Oh, and oh, that was number 34, right? So,
Okay.
hey, that was the last one on part number 2. Ooh, I am so excited to see what we're gonna do in the next part.
Yes.
um but I'm really enjoying this, kind of working our way through these fun movies, kind of reminiscing and then like making a list, like, okay, I have not seen this for a long time, maybe I should give it another try.
Revisit or in the movies like we're talking, we both had some that were like, I never seen that. I can't say much, I can't say anything.
Yeah,
So it's really surprising to see that as many movies as we've seen that, yeah,
and that in this era, right? No,
right.
I get it. No, that's great, that's great. So let's wrap up, and hey, next time we'll be back for the number 33 through number 1.
Yes.
All right, you can find Heavy Metal Horror at unsaneradio.com. Listen to full episodes or download to your device. You can find us at Facebook, Heavy Metal Horror Podcast. On Instagram, look for Montag Lewis, one word. Our YouTube page, Heavy Metal Horror Podcast. If you're watching, that's where you're at. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. And if you know someone who would like our show, tell them about us. This has been Montag, Master of Illusion.
In Chop Top.
And you've been watching and listening to Heavy
Happy metal.
Metal
Oh.
Horror.
This is Doug Helvering, and you have been listening to Heavy Metal Horror, the best podcast that you've never heard before.